Islam family, peace and love. I'm coming on this social site for a particular reason, because the spirits and the energies are moving our people in a particular direction, and we need to be moving as the spirit moves us. So we got to stay focused on what it is that we're being charged to kind of do, right? And trust, which is not just a document, it's actually a relationship between two individuals, two parties, right? Two natural beings. Only can be between two natural beings, right? And everybody's so interested in trust. Oh, can I get that trust document? Can I get this trust document? Can you give me this? The first order of the day, before any other order can ever be done or accomplished or effectuated, is nationality. Before you can move and navigate Islam, Alicia Knox Bay, before you can navigate as that independent national being, you have to first declare and proclaim your nationality, right? You have to first proclaim and declare your nationality, and then you proceed to know how to administer your own affairs, as well as learning natural laws and different things like that. Like, our energies and our spirits are moving us to do specific things, and we're moving so fast that we need to kind of slow down and prepare for specific moves strategically, right? And Amir Taj Tariq Bey, who is dear to me, completely dear to me, and I am connected to, has given me so much, and words can't even express the love that I feel for this man, the love that I have for him, staying diligent in his desire, as well as his mission to uplift fallen humanity. So I can never say it enough. Islam, thank you. Ashe, I send light and energy and love to you. Amir Taj Tariq Bey, and I thank you for never giving up on us when so many of our family members have done that. So I want to first say thank you for every Friday reawakening our minds in the House of Reawakening Minds. And I thank you for doing this when the support, the love has been shared to a degree, but has not been shared to a degree that it should have been shared or should be sharing. Because what you are doing is you are reawakening our minds. You are delivering us from death. Civilir mortus. You're delivering us from physical, mental, and spiritual death. So you can never be repaid by any national being for what you have provided me and my family with, specifically with knowing who we are and being there for us to tell us that we are Moors, and how we have been operating is the sole purpose for our afflictions. Islam. So the reasons why I came on this was to talk about trust. Taj was the first individual that told me anything about a trust, never knew what the heck a trust was before he spoke it into my consciousness, my mind. And I've been wrestling with trust, right? We've all been wrestling with trust. We feel as though we can have that without actually having trust. The first thing that has to be established before trust can even be considered is trust, relationships, connections, camaraderie, togetherness, unity, right? I was like, so when you think about, we're spearheading in the Consul Court Restoration Development Team, we are spearheading your competencies and trust, because the realities are you would never be able to administer your trust if we just gave you the document and said, go create your trust. It is more to creating a trust than just signing your appellation, putting your thumbprint on it, and saying, boom, I got a trust. You got to know how to operate it. You got to know what it means, and you got to know how to navigate, or you will be deceived yet again. So pump your brakes, Moors, and learn how to reestablish trust. with your family, and through the reestablishing of the trust as well as the love, you will learn what it is to actually have a trust, right? Because we're running around here looking to try to get this trust all established, and we don't even trust each other. We don't even have any relationships to feel comfortable to administer a trust, right? So the first thing is unity. The second thing is competency. And then the third thing is establishment, right? But it takes a multitude of individuals, not just one individual, to have trust. At least has to have 2 to 3 parties, at least, for it to be established. And what is an actual trust? A trust is a contract. Trust is a contract. Jamel, on his YouTube, Facebook page, which I posted in both of the groups, the Central as well as the Northeastern Division groups, his 2.5-hour class on how to create a trust. The best examples for you to think about, to have in your atmosphere, to have in your mind when reading anything about a trust is the Treaty of Peace and Friendship and the American Constitutions, which are the biggest, the best trusts, right? And then you got to think about all those other United Nations declarations, because those too are, in a sense, trusts, right? They are people, there are organizations, there are body politics that are saying they're going to do a certain thing. But in order for any body politics to exist, the first thing that has to be there are people who trust one another and who have trusted one another enough to say, I trust you enough, let's build this contract. Let's be in community, in unity, right? So when you're reading the WISE Trust document for the WISE Concise Trustee Handbook, or the other multitudes of trust documents out there that are free for anybody, all you literally have to do is Google it. But it's also located on the file section of at least the Northern Eastern Division of the Consular Court groups on Facebook. The WISE Concise Trustee Handbook. And that particular book was referred by our Amir Taj Tariq Bey. So I give weight behind that reference. But just like Jamel always says, caveat emptor, buyer beware. Because the realities are, we are here to give information and to give knowledge. It is your responsibility to do your due diligence, to research before you act on any information that is given to you. But at the very least, that information is given to you freely and with love, and it is your responsibility to administer your own affairs and not to blame anyone for your incompetence of not only constructing anything, but enforcing it. And the only way you enforce it is through knowledge, right? So it would make no sense if a newly nationalized Moor came to me 10 minutes after they sent me their verification and I unleashed a document off to you, and now all of a sudden you think you're just free. No, you're not. Because none of these documents, none of these processes, nothing can assist you if you don't first have the supreme laws of the land in your mind. So you can refer to them when you're interfacing with anybody, whether it be in commerce, whether it be in family, wherever it is. You are responsible for the actions you make, no one else. Everything that's on social media, every propaganda, everything that you see is information. But it is your responsibility to channel it, to research it, dissect it, and decide for yourself if it is the best course of action for you to navigate. You can never blame anybody else for your inabilities to take care of you and your family. So when people go on social media and start sending negative energies, I usually just delete it. I delete it, I ignore it, I won't even acknowledge it, right? And the realities are, those individuals are projecting. When you're being negative, you're projecting your own incompetencies. So stop projecting, because we know what it is. Caviar emptor. I always say it wrong, but I'm going to post it later. Do trusts cost to get going, or can you just create one? Answer your own question. Do trusts cost money to get going? What is a trust? A trust is a contract. How do you draft a contract? By first determining the parties. Now we're going to use the American Constitution. I'm always going to use the American Constitution. It is an agreement between individuals, which are people, and their proper person for one, who said, let's come together and let's create a trust. And I'm going to put key people in administration, in administer duties, and and then there's going to be the actual person who's establishing it, the grantor, settlor. There's a lot of different names. The people, we the people. And then you got the beneficiaries, usually the heirs, right? The realities is everything that you want to do, you can do free of charge. All you got to do is get the mind to know what it is that you want to do and educate yourself and act upon it. But if you want others to start doing things for you, then you have to pay fees, services. You have to transfer energy because an individual is putting that energy in. Like I said, the Consular Court Restoration Development Team, this is our top priority, second to nationality, because obviously nationality is the first order of the day. Nothing else is worth talking about too without first establishing that. And realizing, regardless of what tribes you belong to, Chickasaw, Seminole, Wichita, Cherokee, we all are from one nation that arrives from a multitude of tribes. So if you know what tribe you're from, tap it in the comment section. I would definitely love to know, because we treat to everybody. There is no divisionism. There is no schisms that a lot of people like to create because of pride and ego. The Mauritius American Consulate and the Consular Court Restoration Development Team, there is no room for egos and pride. There's only room for family and unity, right? So when we go back to trusts and contracts, right? When you're doing your trust research, Jamel, like I said, Jamel on YouTube did a 2.5-hour video on trust, how to establish and create a trust. Because it makes absolutely no sense in me sitting here sending you documents if you don't know what it is, if you don't know how to administer it, and you're going to just end up giving somebody else trustee position in your trust that you don't even know and you don't even trust. Putting yourself back into slavery, putting yourself subjecting yourself to someone else's will. It is our job first to be competent in what a trust is and how to be to administer that. So that's the first order of the business. So I implore all of you who is going to share this video, which I hope you're sharing this video with all of your family and your friends. I implore you to watch that YouTube video. Read Wise, Concise, Trustee Handbook and elevate your understanding before you even put the pen to sign any trust document. Islam? So my first question is, always think about the American Constitution, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Those are two trust documents, contracts. Trust is a contract. And as the American Constitution will tell you within it, one of the conditions, one of the laws, one of the indentured agreement, part of the indentured agreement or declaration of authority, whatever you want to call it, speaks to Section 10 of the first article talks, no state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver, tender in payment of debts. That's a breach. Making anything outside of that's a breach. So Federal Reserve notes is a breach of contract. Pass any bills of attainder, breach of contract if they have them. Ex post facto law, breach of contract. I'm telling these people, these contracts is voided, been voided. Impairing the obligation of contracts. You can't impair the obligations of contracts. It's between the two parties that establish the contract. The contract makes the law. So make sure you draft them right, so you're not putting yourself in harm's way. So that's where study, you sleepy-headed Moors comes in, because you can't blame anybody for the actions that you put into the ethers. And you should never be doing any actions outside of knowledge. Even though your heart, your spirit, your ego, your pride may say, oh, go do this, let's go, I'm going to go over there, I'm going to go over there. And then you want to sit here and start Facebook posting, talking about somebody hurt you. Nobody hurt you. The only way I can hurt you is if I come and punch you in the face. Or if I come and trip you with my foot. Or if I run you over with my conveyance. Then I hurt you. And you can seek remedy. But if I was giving knowledge on a social platform and told you, hey, yes, do this, do that, what would you be required to do in order to do anything, right? Action. So if you have an action, right, who controls these functions? Who's navigating this vessel? You. This is a vessel. You're navigating it. So how the heck are you blaming somebody else for your navigation when we don't have the controls? We're not controlling you. We ain't put no, what do they call them? No, those little bots, those little nanites. We ain't put nanites in you and just controlling you. Then you can sit here and say, oh, I did something to you because I was controlling you. I took control of your vessel. I don't have the ability to take control of your vessel. So whatever actions you do, if you didn't do your due diligence, you cannot blame anyone for that. Islam? So, answer this question. This is your homework to next broadcast. Who were the parties to the American Constitution? List the parties that were involved in that agreement, that contract. Who were the parties that established the American Constitution 1791? That's the first question. Because there are going to be at least three, right? 3 parties, at least. I'm going to give you what those party names are. They have a bunch of different derivatives because people like to muddy the water with all of this verbiage. 1, settler, grantor. Settler, grantor. The person establishing it. The person with the sovereignty to establish it. 2nd, administrators. Those individuals who have to listen to what the grantors have stated within the instrument. And then 3, the people who are benefiting from the establishment of the trust / contract and the administration of it. So those are the 2, and then the 3. You tell me who those 3 parties are by the next time we talk. And if you haven't read the American Constitution, you're going to have to read it to figure that out. It's all family, peace, and love.